What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for a Smackdown review for last night's episode of Smackdown on Fox Live from the Performance Center. A lot of things came out this week from WWE firings, people being let go for a load, the death of a legend in the wrestling business, to WWE's way they're going to be producing shows for the WWE after, what is it, next week, I believe? Yeah, next week. We're going to get into all of that tomorrow on Unscripted. But today, let's talk about Smackdown. Smackdown, of course, from the Performance Center, starts us off with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross in a moment of bliss. With, as Alexa Bliss said, her best, one of her friends, Braun Strowman. I did not give two fucks about this. I don't give a shit. I hate these talk show segments that they do. All I know is that Braun Strowman came out, gloated about being champion. They were all champions in the ring. And he got a black sheep's mask from Bray Wyatt. And of course, the significance of that is when Braun Strowman made his WWE main roster debut, all the way back in, I believe, what was it? The end of 2015 or beginning of 2016, he was the black sheep of the Wyatt family. You had Rowan, you had Harper. Rowan wore the one sheep's mask, and Braun Strowman wore a black sheep's mask. So that is the significance of that. Then we go to Tamina versus Sasha Banks. If Tamina was to win this match, she would be taking on Bayley at probably Money in the Bank, which, oh boy, we'll get into Money in the Bank here in a minute. Now, for many months, since I think Bayley combined hit 100 days, Michael Cole has been misinforming everybody that Bayley's current title reign has been X amount of days. And making it seem like the 2 days that Bayley was not SmackDown Women's Champion and Charlotte was, didn't happen. Or the few days or whatever it was. But finally, I don't know if this is the first time, but Michael Cole said on commentary that Bayley has been SmackDown Women's Champion for 180 days. Bayley took exception to this, and she's like, what happened to the combined days you kept saying? Which is a good question. What changed, Cole? Did someone say, hey, wait a minute, Bayley hasn't been champion for 300 and plus straight days, or 200 and some plus, it was probably about 300 and some plus days. She held it for a couple months, then for a couple days, I think it was a month or two. Then Charlotte won the title back, lost it the next Tuesday, and then we were off from there. But Michael Cole really was Hell in a Cell where she lost and then she won it back 2 days later. I could be wrong. But the fact that Michael Cole decided to combine these together, they had this narrative of him combining them together, just made no sense to me. You don't go, well, The Miz has been Intercontinental Champion for X amount of days every time he comes out there. If he wins the Intercontinental Championship back, he's going to hold it for, say he's had it 12 days. You're going to say 12 days. You're not going to say 100 and 700 and some days or whatever his total length is. So I never got that. Now this match starts off. Sasha Banks is out there, and she's like, "Hold on, sus, hold on." And she hands her a shirt. She puts it on her chest and says, "You look good in this." It's a small shirt, a shirt for a child. Tamina says, "This is a small. I wear extra large, you bitch." Grabs her hair, brings her down. Now, Tamina ends up throwing her to the floor as they go to commercial break. Back, and Tamina is dominating Banks until Banks moves out of the way in the corner. She's out on the ropes, hits a high knee, 2 count, goes to the ground and pound. Basement drop hit leads to a 1 count for Banks. Banks looks for the way down Tamina. Banks gets a sleeper on Tamina, but she's backs Banks into the corner, rocking her, and Banks with another high knee to Tamina, knocking her off. Uranagi by Tamina sends Banks to the outside, but Bayley steps up. Now, Bayley, of course, is on commentary for this match. So she's out there, just having her, just going at Michael Cole every so often. Now, Tamina, and she gets up, and she's like, hey, over here, hey, come here, over here. That allows Sasha Banks to be able to take Tamina and throw her into the steel ring post. And let's see here. And Lacey Evans is, sorry, not Lacey Evans, but Tamina is down. Sasha Banks is being distracting the referee for a minute. Bayley's like, you know what? I need to go check on her. I need to go check on Tamina. And she starts talking trash to her. All of a sudden, out comes Lacey Evans, who makes a beeline, jumps over the stairs, steps on, jumps off the stairs, hits an elbow, a forearm to Bayley, knocking her down. Banks comes back out, super kick by Tamina, knocks her down. She takes her back inside, hits another super kick. 1, 2, 3. Sasha Banks is beat by Tamina. So Tamina, you get a title match. Now, this to me signals that even though you have Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, and Asuka all from Raw in the Money in the Bank ladder match, Sasha Banks will be in a qualifier next week. We'll talk about who she goes up against in a bit. But if Sasha Banks is not in the Money in the Bank Money in the Bank ladder match, then WWE has already screwed this up. Sasha Banks winning the Money in the Bank ladder match would be the perfect way to break these two up. Will it happen? I hope actually no. The only way I could see them doing this and having this done right is like Bayley is in a title match with not Tamina, but whoever she faces at the next pay-per-view. And they have them in a match, and then Banks comes out, cashes in her Money in the Bank, and ends up winning the title. But it wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't a good match at all. It was an average, okay match. Tamina off TV, and this is the thing. Tamina's been off TV for months, if a year or so. I know she's been injured most of the time, but that just doesn't make any sense why she should come back after months and months and months of being off and automatically be in the title picture at WrestleMania, and now going into Money in the Bank, which, again, we'll get to Money in the Bank in a minute. Then we cut to the back, and we have Jey Uso says, Morrison and Kofi put on a hell of a show with his bro at WrestleMania. Now your partners have to face the Uso with the juice. 7-time champs coming soon. Ooh, so... And we cut the commercial. So, this the first of 3 hype packages for the triple threat match at the end of the show, which was... It was something, and we'll get to it in a bit. Then Lacey Evans backstage, and she says, tonight, Sasha Banks got a taste of her own medicine. After what she did to me at WrestleMania, I'm going to lace up until my mission is complete. And everywhere Sasha Banks goes, I go now. And she shows us her fist. She pulls her glove back, and her fist has the name word Sasha with a red circle with a line going through it, as her mission to her is to get rid of Sasha Banks. Then we go into the ring to Sheamus. Sheamus goes up against the same poor soul that had to deal with Seth Rollins the night after WrestleMania. Denzel DeJonters, or whatever the heck, Denzel the loser. Squash match, 1, 2, 3. Sheamus is your winner. Now, why is Sheamus, of all guys, getting squash matches as if he needs to establish himself? This is Sheamus. Multi-time WWE champion, multi-time tag team champion. I believe he's held the Intercontinental and the United States Championship. Sheamus doesn't need to go through squash matches. This dude is established as can be. He might not be the big overstar he might not be a high tier established over talent, but he is somebody that we know what he can do and where he can go. Why he needs to go into the squash match route, I don't have a clue. Now, as he's walking away, just like last week, Cole decides to start talking about Jeff Hardy again. Because they're doing this 3-part series of Jeff Hardy's The Rise, The Fall, and what next week will be The Redemption. Sheamus hears this because we're in the Performance Center. They can hear what the commentators are saying without having to have a mic, which makes me wonder why they're still using traditional mics. And he just takes offense. He's not happy with the fact that Cole is not talking about Sheamus, he's talking about Jeff Hardy. The second week in a row. He gets in Cole's face and says he will not be the disrespected fella. Only this would have been a way to write Michael Cole off of TV by having Sheamus put him in the ring, hit a brogue kick, and we never see this guy again. Other than that, just a waste of time. Then we get the story of the fall of Jeff Hardy, which shows me that no matter what Jeff Hardy does, no matter how many times this guy screws up, how much this guy goes out there and just screws his life up and possibly could end up in jail, if he comes back, I mean, I'm a fan of Jeff's in-ring work and everything, but you can't just keep doing this to this guy. You keep giving this guy chances. This is just like the Usos. The Usos have been busted multiple times with DUIs. They're not as bad as Jeff, not even close. Nobody has been given this many chances and has screwed up as many times as Jeff has. We heard from Christian, we heard from Big Show, we heard from Samoa Joe in this thing, but it's like it just shows every single time WWE gives this guy an inch, he takes a mile. And he goes out there and he ends up fucking up one way or another. And then they just say, well, we love the determination he has to turn his life around. And he might do that for about a month or two. And then something else will happen that puts him back to where he screwed up again. They've got to start giving this guy chances. Jeff Hardy would not surprise me if Jeff Hardy, because there was a talk that the rumor was that if Braun Strowman didn't want to work during this pandemic time, Jeff Hardy was going to be the guy to beat Goldberg for the Universal Champion, and Jeff Hardy would be your new Universal Champion. I highly doubt that, but of course, Braun Strowman is your Universal Champion. And another thing is, I would find it more believable that Braun Strowman could beat Goldberg in a straight-up match that they had, and not Jeff Hardy. But again, WWE is pushing Jeff Hardy again and again. Now, it is one of those things that said that Jeff Hardy, not Jeff Hardy, but everybody deserves second chances, but Jeff Hardy has had chance after chance after chance after chance. This guy knows that, hey, if I screw up, if I show them I'm willing to work and willing to make things right, WWE is going to give me a chance again until I screw up again. It's just so up that they can make that Jeff Hardy can mess up a million times, mess up every single chance that he gets, and WWE will still go to bat for him, and Vince McMahon will still give him chance after chance. It would not surprise me if Roman's not going to be around for a while because of everything that's going on. Jeff Hardy might be the guy they give the championship to at SummerSlam. If things don't go south for Jeff between now and SummerSlam, if Roman's not back by then, I honestly think I can honestly see WWE giving Jeff the championship. He comes back, has a couple matches, and everything just goes up, 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 and he doesn't have any fall off. I can see WWE making him Universal Champion. Is it smart? Is it right? Probably not. He can screw up time and time again. And WWE and Vince McMahon just wants to do it. It is what it is. We'll see what happens, but I don't want to say that somebody shouldn't deserve to get a push. If he's serious and he actually every time he screwed up is it, and he's just gonna be Jeff Hardy. And here's the thing. After what happened at Victory Road in 2011, and he turned his life around there at Impact for about 5 years and did not have a relapse at all, yet comes back to WWE and has been pulled over twice already for DUI. It's just not right. One too many times given chances, and I think WWE has got to put their foot down. I don't care how I don't care how many times somebody has the determination, and Vince loves the fact that this person has the determination to put the best foot forward after falling off again. All it's gonna do is say, hey, if I play nice and do everything right for a month or two, and then I can go do whatever the fuck I want. I can do what I want because because I'll screw up, and then I'll show the determination that I want to do it. I want to get better again, and they're gonna just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, rinse and repeat. How long until Jeff Hardy gets behind the wheel, drunk, and he hits somebody and kills himself, kills them, both? That's the reality you have to face with. How many times is WWE just going to give this person chances to clean up their act and to stay cleaned up? Usos are in that same boat too. How many times are they going to stay? How many times is WWE going to give them chances until WWE goes, well, this wasn't a good idea. We need to stop enabling these things. WWE, when it comes to Usos, Jeff Hardy, and people like that, is they're enabling them. And that's not good. Just my thoughts on that. After the rise, after the fall, we get to Carmella backstage as Dana Brooke is pumping herself, getting herself warmed up for her match against Naomi coming up soon. She is not happy. She's got a match with Naomi this week for a Money in the Bank qualifier while they have a tag team title match against the tag team champions Bliss and Cross next week. Dana Brooke's like, are you kidding me? This is a chance to go to Money in the Bank, which we'll talk about that in a second, but it's a chance at a briefcase. I'm surprised she didn't say to Carmella, you know all about that. You're a former Miss Money in the Bank. I want to be one too. They didn't use that line, and I don't know why. Why they didn't have her tell Carmella, well, you should know all about this. You won the first ever Money in the Bank, Women's Money in the Bank. You cashed in and became Women's Champion. I want to do that too. And plus, I can do both. She said this, plus I can do both. Carmella seems to doubt that a little bit and just says, good luck. And she leaves. So Naomi versus Dana Brooke. Naomi's coming out. And Corey Graves said earlier in the night that this year's Money in the Bank is going to be the most unique Money in the Bank ever. Now, I assumed that was going to be in an empty arena, just like it was at WrestleMania. And that's how unique it's going to be because there's going to be no fans there. They took this one step further. Money in the Bank, the matches at least, the Money in the Bank ladder matches, are going to take place in what they are dubbing climbing the corporate ladder. They are going to take place at WWE HQ. Starting on the ground floor, they have to fight their way through each level of this building, which I think it's about 10-15 stories. I have no idea. So okay, I found it out. 7 stories. They have to go 7 flights to get to the roof, where the men's or women's Money in the Bank briefcase is going to be. Now, I wonder if they're going to have all the matches there, like the world title match between Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. They said Bray Wyatt. They did not say the Fiend. So it looks like it's going to be Bray Wyatt. But like if Tamina versus Bayley, are they all going to be on top of Titan Towers? I mean, that'd be different. It would make it. It wouldn't if it was an outdoor setting. I mean, AEW's Matt and Nick Jackson are doing Being the Elite, and they've had matches at the BTE compound recently over the last 2 weeks, and they're gonna have one coming up this coming Monday, with Matt and Nick going head to head in a no disqualification, anything goes match. But they've been outdoors on a tennis court. And you know what? The fact that it's in an outdoor area, it kind of doesn't hurt the matches. You're not in that closed environment. It doesn't feel so it doesn't feel so closed in. You're open and wide, and it does help alleviate the fact that you don't have any fans. So if WWE wanted to tape the entire Money in the Bank ladder match, Money in the Bank show at the WWE HQ on the roof, I think that would be pretty fucking cool. I think that would. So, yeah, they're going to be on top. They have to start on the ground floor, fight 7 stories to climb the mountain, to climb up and get the Money in the Bank briefcase. This should be interesting. Now, I will have to say, it is different. Now, anybody who wants to sit there and say this is a stupid idea, and this is just going to drive WWE out the doors. Like, it's going to drive people's interest in WWE down. Those are the people who are sitting there and are bashing WWE for everything and think that. And here's the thing: I do bash WWE when it's bad, and there's been a lot of bad. But I will say that this is something different, and it's at least better than them just saying, "Well, we're going to have a lot of matches in empty arenas." Did you see that triple threat ladder match at WrestleMania? It was a decent match. It would have been a great match with a crowd, but it didn't have a crowd. Having a ladder match inside an empty arena does not work well. I don't care who's in the match. If the match, it was just so, it wasn't as fun. I just can't go with it like that. Now, again, and here's the thing: if AEW came out with this, there's a lot of people out there be like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever. This is one of the best ideas they could have come up with." WWE thinks outside of the box. I guarantee you, people are bashing these people left and right because they're going to do something that they've never really done before. Fighting from the top of the building, from the bottom of the building to the top. And I know, people want them to do a sumo wrestling, a sumo monster truck battle like they did, like WCW did at Halloween Havoc, and what was it, 94, 95, 96, one of those years? Yeah, no thank you. But yes, they're going to be battling from floor one to the top of the roof, to the roof. Going to be interesting to see what WWE has come out with. I'm pretty sure I read on Friday or yesterday that they've already taped these matches. All this is already in the can, which is fine. I don't think you want to do this live. You want to make this as cinematic as possible, I guess. Should be interesting. And whoever wins these Money in the Bank ladder matches and these corporate ladder matches, we're going to have bragging rights and have a story to tell, because you're going to win a match that WWE will probably never ever do again. I don't think in these guys' lifetime, in my lifetime, in Vince McMahon's lifetime, this pandemic stuff will ever happen this bad again. So, to anybody who's in this match and you win it, you have the ultimate, like, hey, I won this specialty match, and no one else is going to ever be able to say that about me except for the winner of the men's and women. Now to the match. Dana Brooke versus Naomi. Early roll up by Naomi gets a 1 count. Okada roll for a 1 for both women. They both try and roll each other up. Brooke is acting a bit heelish in this match. She's looking up at the thing. She's saying, "This is my time, my match. I'm going the Money in the Bank." She wants the referee to count, which a babyface does not do. So, which of course, with them going into the tag team match next week, Carmella and Dana Brooke have to be heels because Bliss and Cross have been babyfaces since they formed this tag team. Brooke gets a leg scissor around the waist of Naomi. She's taunting her. She's saying, "This is my match. This is my time. I'm going to there." Naomi hits back, just shoots her head backwards, knocking her down, gets pinned for a 2 count. Naomi hits a beautiful looking disaster kick, which is the kick that Cody Rhodes uses for a 2 count. Then a sit-out powerbomb by Dana Brooke, who has been doing that since she had that chat with Batista on the bump a couple months ago. I wonder how that date with those two went. I'm not sure. Powerbomb for a 2 count. Brooke cartwheel splash is blocked, but a Reveiw gets a 2 count. Split-legged moonsault misses. Shoulders down. Well, I'm sorry. Naomi goes for a split-legged moonsault. She misses. She's there. Naomi goes and hits a code red. 1, 2, or sunset bomb, a code red. 1, 2, 3. Dana Brooke is your winner, and she is going to Money in the Bank. She is excited. She's happy. She's celebrating by Michael Cole as they go to replays, and then they go to commercial break. When we come back, Sonya Deville comes out to what I want to say, to clear the air, and why she did what she did with Dolph Ziggler. So we come back. She's out there. Looks like she's about to cry. She has like tears welling in her eyes. She wants Mandy to come out here so she can make things right. She's not happy with how things have gone between them two so far. She's begging her. She's begging to come out bad. And Mandy comes out. Sonya looks miserable. Mandy says, I have nothing to say to you. Not a damn thing to say to you. Sonya can't get the words out. She's trying to say, but Mandy, it's just that. It's just that. Nah. You're the most selfish person, most selfish human being I have ever seen. She went from this, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna die, to serious, you're the most selfish human being I've ever met in my life. That takes Mandy Rose by surprise. Sonya, like, it's never, like, Fire and Desire has never been about us. It's been about you. I've been sitting behind you, coming out to your theme music, even though they come out to the theme music together when they come out as a tag team. It splits them, it splices them in between. But when it's Mandy Rose's, they do that entire that filter where it's just focusing on her. Everything else around her is fuzzed out. And Sonya Deville has said, "No, when we come out, I don't even get to see. You can't even see me in the entrance." She is just so this could have been us winning the tag team titles, but you didn't care about that. When you started having affection for Otis, I realized you wanted to kick me to the curb like that. You wanted to get rid of me. Mandy is just all shocked about this. Just shocked that she's even airing this dirty laundry. She's this pissed off. She's been holding this in for a while. Sonya Deville pretty much says that she did what she did because Mandy Rose was selfish. Mandy Rose was thinking of herself and not thinking of the team. So yes, she admits she hatched this plan with Dolph Ziggler because she thought it was good for the team. Not what was good for Mandy Rose, but what was good for the team. Sonya says she has no talent. She's a dime a dozen blonde and looks like she was made in a lab. Sonya Deville just the frustration felt genuine. It felt like this is something that's been building up in her for a while. And as long as everything went as planned, she had no qualms. She had no reason to say what she was feeling. But Otis wasn't part of the plan, part of Sonya's plan. So they're about to scrap. Out comes Dolph Ziggler. He's trying to, because someone's like, we did this the wrong way. We went about this the wrong way. Now you can't tell me that on that Valentine's date that you didn't feel something for me, that you don't care about me, that you don't care about us. He goes to, stroke her arm a little bit. She's like, don't touch me. And then Sonya just whaps her right in the face. Right in the face. I was like, what did you do that for? Why did you do that? So Otis comes out, takes out Ziggler. Mandy and Sonya's on the back of Otis trying to, choke him out or something when Mandy Rose gets back up and takes her down. And then those two are trying to have a moment in the ring, but Dolph Ziggler comes back in. Otis drops him, hits the caterpillar. Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler have to collect themselves as Mandy and Otis come out, stand in the ring, stand tall in the ring. So obviously, quite clearly, at Money in the Bank, it's going to be Mandy Rose and Otis versus Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler. My only thing about this entire Mandy Rose, Otis, and Dolph Ziggler, Sonya Deville thing is I'm hoping this isn't going to lead to WWE phasing out heavy machinery. We've seen stuff like this before. I'm just hoping this doesn't happen. I'm just hoping that by the time this is all said and done, heavy machinery is still a tag team. They really haven't had a run on SmackDown. It's been start, stop. They've had matches here and there. They've had maybe one or two tag team title matches. I mean, yes, they had the tag team title opportunity inside the Elimination Chamber, though Sunday before all this stuff started. It's just, I don't want to see this be one of those things where Tucker is left on the outside looking in and Mandy and Otis doing their thing. Eventually she breaks his heart. And then Otis is a one-man wrecking machine while Tucker does nothing. I'm just hoping this is not going to sacrifice heavy machinery for the built of this one feud or this one storyline. But it's like, other than last week and I believe the week before that, it's been Otis doing his thing, and Tucker really hasn't been doing much. So then we go back to the commentary desk, and Michael Cole brings up that 24 years ago he started in WWE. He started in WWE about 1997, and that would have been 23 years ago, whatever. And he didn't know anything. He didn't know a damn thing about sports entertainment. For about 4 months, he rode with a guy named Howard Finkel. As we all know, on Thursday, we lost Howard Finkel, 69 years old. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. But they give us a nice tribute video. I'll give my thoughts on Howard Finkel and everything tomorrow, along with all the other breaking news that happened this week. But they gave you a great video package for this guy. He was one of a kind, and it was absolutely great. Then we see Miz in the back cutting his promo and how he calls this an injustice. This title match has to happen because Morrison already defended these tag team titles, so why does he have to do this? And he'll show you why tonight. MC, MIZ, and Johnny Drip Drip are the best tag team of the 21st century. And I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome, yada yada. And yes, he did say MC, MIZ, and Johnny Drip Drip. I don't know why he thinks he's a rap god now, but whatever. We get a closer look at the Forgotten Sons, aka the team that we will forget about in about a month when they're not used anymore. I still love the fact that WWE last week, when they came up from WrestleMania, from NXT, is that, well, these guys were dominating NXT, so they're going to come up to SmackDown and dominate SmackDown. I watched NXT for years. I've watched NXT since the Forgotten Sons have been in NXT. When was the last time the Forgotten Sons were even dominant in NXT? You don't call a tag team that has been gone, like on a brand or in a company that you only see once every 6 or 7 weeks, dominating. If you're going to be a dominated tag team, you see them every week or every other week going out there and just martyring their opponents, beating the hell out of their opponents, making their opponents wish they didn't get up that morning. That was not the Forgotten Sons. Other than the 2019 run in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, they did absolutely nothing in NXT. How many times they would come on TV in NXT and the crowd would chant, "We forgot you," or "Who are you?" That just tells you how much WWE had stock in the Forgotten Sons. I will say though, seeing Wesley Blake finally make it to the main roster after all these years, it's good for him. I mean, he was an NXT Tag Team Champion with Buddy Murphy. Blake and Murphy had a nice little run with Alexa Bliss. When Alexa Bliss turned on them just shunned them after the show was after they lost the tag team titles, Murphy went his own way. Wesley Blake went his own way, and Murphy ended up going to 205 Live, becoming Cruiserweight Champion, whereas Blake just disappeared and then eventually joined the Forgotten Sons. So, how long until Forgotten Sons? Well, I think the one thing about this whole entire pandemic thing going on is that this might actually give the Forgotten Sons a chance to actually be used because WWE is not using everybody. And this could be a chance that they actually get time on the card because of that. Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro, Money in the Bank qualifier. This was a good match. But when the match started, this was a quick start by these two, and as you expected, and as I'm writing this on my notes, the Mystery Hacker comes back on the show, shows us clips with the New Day, Bliss Cross, the Usos, the Tag Team Champions, or like Miz and Morrison, and Bayley and Sasha Banks. Pretty much every tag team outside of Heavy Machinery. I didn't think they showed Heavy Machinery. Outside of Heavy Machinery on the SmackDown roster. I have no idea why. He did get his. He did say keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So it's one of those going to turn on the partners. I have no idea. Now, why this was played here and not at the end of the show when the main event is Big E versus Jey Uso versus The Miz, 3 members of tag teams, is beyond me. This should have been something that you saw when they went to the first commercial break during the main event, or the commercial break during the main event. Why they decided here is beyond me. But we come back, and Cesaro and Bryan are trading shots. Bryan's working on the left arm. As they mentioned on commentary, Drew Gulak did the same thing on the pre-show of WrestleMania Night 1. Which, yes, that is great continuity then. It's like Cesaro, a couple weeks ago, had his left arm damaged to a point where it's probably not 100% right now. So Daniel Bryan going back to work on that is a good way to, you know, show that, hey, there's some continuity in WWE. WWE, if it would have been any other time, Cesaro's arm would have been wrapped up and Daniel Bryan would have won after the other arm. Cesaro with a big elbow, but Bryan hip tosses him into an armbar. Cesaro then deadlifts Bryan, dropping him. Cesaro now in control, scoop slams Bryan a couple times and gets a 2 count. Then Bryan gets back to work on the arm, crossbody, by Daniel Bryan caught, and he's put into a sidewalk slam. This was a little sloppy here. I think he caught him, and then he had to readjust him to get him up for the sidewalk slam. Back and forth men are fighting for a backside. Eventually, Bryan turns it into an armbar. Back and forth, these two going. Cesaro blocks a kick and with his bad arm as Daniel Bryan's going for his yes kicks, and he goes for the last one. Cesaro blocks it with his arm, which is the bad arm. That he's wincing enough in pain that Daniel Bryan's able to get him a second time, and he just slowly crumples to the floor, or to the mat. Cesaro hits a GTS for a 2 count. Goes for a crossface, but Bryan turns it into the yes lock. But Cesaro gets out, trading pins with each other. Clothesline. Uppercut in the corner. Bryan gets the yes lock in, and Nakamura tries to get involved, but Gulak stops that. He gets out of Gulak. He tries to go in. Gulak pulls him out while the yes lock is on. Daniel Bryan wrenches back one more time, and Cesaro taps out. Daniel Bryan is the first person to go to Money in the Bank for Smackdown. All 3 members of the Monday Night Raw brand will be there on Monday. We'll find out who's going on Monday. Next week, we'll have some more. Then we go to the back, which, by the way, that was a good match. It was. The fact that Nakamura and Gulak really didn't do anything till the tail end is great. We didn't have Nakamura getting on the apron, trying to distract, having Gulak pull him down, those two having a big brawl back there, and the ref come out and is like, you, to the back. No, we had none of that. Their presence in this match was minimal at best, and that's the way to go. Big E cuts his promo for the match for tonight's main event. Says, Woods, Kofi, sit back in your lazy boys and enjoy the show I'm about to put on as we become your 8-time WWE World Tag Team Champions. Then Elias is supposed to come out and have a performance when he is blindsided by Baron Corbin. Because we need to see more Elias and Baron Corbin. This should have ended at WrestleMania. If one person I wish would have stayed home during this whole entire pandemic thing, Baron Corbin is that one guy. We don't need him. We don't want him. Get him off my TV for about 2-3 months. Thank you very much. So he gets beat up. He gets drugged somewhere. Don't really care. We go to commercial break. We come back, and Corbin's beating him up even more. Then takes the guitar, whacks it over his back, and that was that. So this feud is not over with. Spare me the pain. Ugh. Miz vs. Big E vs. Jey Uso, the Smackdown Tag Team title match. Of course, the reason this match is going on right now, went on last night, is because it was originally at WrestleMania, a triangle ladder match, tag team ladder match. Miz and Morrison vs. Usos vs. The New Day. Unfortunately, the Miz was quote-unquote injured. Actually, he was sick. Didn't have COVID. He was just sick, under the weather. They didn't want him to possibly have COVID, which they didn't know at the time, or B, because when you're sick, your immune system is fighting that, so he could have been compromised if somebody else had COVID, so they didn't want him to risk that either. So they made it a triple threat singles ladder match for the tag team titles, which had a really goofy ending. So last week, Biggie and Kofi came out and said, well, all 6 of these guys were supposed to be in this match at WrestleMania. That did not happen. So the 3 men who weren't in that match at WrestleMania are going to go against each other this week. This week. By the way, before we get to that, next week's Money in the Bank qualifiers are Gulak and Baron Corbin, Sasha Banks and Lacey Evans, plus the women's tag team titles will be on the line when Dana Brooke and Carmella take on the tag team champions of Bliss and Cross, as well as they will get a deep look into the history of the Wyatt family, and of course part 3 of the redemption of Jeff Hardy will be done next week. So this match is summed up like this. Big E was on a house of fire at the beginning of the match. He goes down. He takes the top off of the this was funny. He takes the top off of the commentator's desk. He's like, "Oh, Cody, do you need this thing? Well, get it out of here. Oh, this GoPro, get this out of here. Oh, you don't need this either. Get this out of here. I got some plans tonight." Jay with a super kick to him. Jay and Miz then take Biggie, superplex him through the table. He's done for a minute. We go to commercial break. We come back. Samoa drop by Jay. Jay with a couple topes to the outside to Miz and Big E from different sides of the ring. He's dominating to a big Uranagi by Big E. Big E hits a big ending. Well, towards the end of the match, Miz has the figure 4 on Jey Uso for a good minute. Now, Michael Cole's like, why? How can Jey Uso hold on for this long? Well, 1, because it wasn't that long, and 2, because nothing has happened to Jay that should, like, to his knees or his legs, to warrant, oh, he needs to be tapping out. Well, after about a minute or 2 or 3 in the figure 4, Big E comes in, grabs the Miz, hits the big ending, 1, 2, 3, the tag team champions have changed and now are the New Days. That was sudden, that was quick, and there's Big E, grabbing both titles, licking them, kissing them, rolling around as if he's a horny teenage guy who has just got who's having his first time with somebody that he wants to have his first time with. We hear from Kofi, he's going crazy. We hear from Xavier Woods, which, by the way, I'm jealous of his gaming room. Looked fantastic. And Big E is still rolling on the floor, licking the titles, kissing the titles, saying, "I love you, I love you, I love you." And that is how Smackdown went off the air. Do we need another New Day? Do we need another New Day title run? No. Do we need another Uso title run? No. I would love, after this Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Otis and stuff is done and over with, I would love for for Otis and Tucker to win the tag team titles. I think it's time. I think these two have done enough to be in the title picture if WWE would give them the freaking opportunity. My word, WWE they need to do something about this, because we don't need to see how many. It's like, yes. Now, the fact that you had Mr. Michael Cole sit there and say, oh, well, they are one title away from tying the Dudley Boys all time for title wins, that just tells me what's going to happen here. The New Day are going to lose these tag team titles, probably at Money in the Bank, and then they're going to win them back, then they're going to lose them again, and then probably at SummerSlam, they're going to become 10-time tag team champions. So that is the plan for WWE. The fact that they even mentioned that they're one title win away from tying the Dudley Boys tells you that WWE wants the New Day, Vince McMahon specifically, wants the New Day to be 10-time tag team champions and break the Dudley Boys record. They already broke Demolition's record with the Raw tag team titles, which we grandfathered in with. So that is WWE's plan. Get the titles, get the New Day, 2 more tag team title wins. So they're probably going to go in the Money in the Bank and lose them there. No doubt about it. Win them probably a month later, and then then lose them again, and then we go to SummerSlam and they win them again. That's what WWE wants to do. Or the New Day will hold the titles. Which, quite honestly, they say the New Day are tag team, like not 8-time tag team champions. But wouldn't Kofi Kingston be a 10 or 11-time tag team champion? You want him with CM Punk, you want him with Evan Bourne, and you want him for the truth, right? Yeah, Kofi Kingston himself has more tag team title reigns than anybody else. But as a team as a whole, they're going to want to make them the greatest tag team of all time. The greatest tag team of all time. To anybody hoping that Big E gets that one title that time as tag team champion or as a single star by himself, that ain't happening until the New Day have won 10 tag team titles. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt. Next week is also going to be Triple H's 25th anniversary celebration. A deep dive into the Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman feud history, and the rise and the fall and the redemption of Jeff Hardy, plus 2 Money in the Bank qualifiers and a tag team title match for the women's tag team titles next week. Which, oh by the way, that would mean that Bliss and Cross, within less than a month, will have defended the women's tag team titles almost as many times as Asuka and Kairi Sane did. How sad is that? The fact that Asuka and Kairi Sane defended the titles at TLC, they did against, I believe, Bliss and Cross for the rematch after Hell in a Cell. Then they defended them at TLC, and they defended them at WrestleMania. Bliss and Cross were already going to be defending their titles twice within a month. That is absolutely sad. And don't tell me, oh, well, they defended them on house shows. House shows don't count, and you know they don't count. But next week, I think, should be an interesting episode of Smackdown. I wonder what they're going to do, which, funny enough, Michael Cole, before I get out here, Michael Cole did mention when they talk about the 25th anniversary of Triple H, he mentioned how Triple H's one accolade that has eluded him was Triple H has never won Money in the Bank. Triple H has never competed in Money in the Bank. Triple H is above Money in the Bank, in my opinion. Would it be shocking if one of the entrants in Money in the Bank 2020 is Triple H? And wouldn't it be convenient that WWE would give Triple H that Money in the Bank accolade because Michael Cole spoke it into existence? The fact that Triple H has never been a Money in the Bank briefcase holder, never competed for it, mind you. But what makes you think that WWE would not go and do that? Let me know what you think about that. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. Find me at Instagram at The France Club. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 115 of Unscripted. Until then, my name is The France, and you guys have a good one.